Hey everyone, hope you guys are all doing well. We are going to be talking about the AI advantage today. So I know everybody is hearing it out there, sort of the buzzwords about Chat GPT and all the different tools that are going out there, and we're seeing it just kind of being rolled out everywhere. And I'm going to walk through today just some ways that I'm using it, how it's impact my marketing, the marketing that we're doing here at Kiwi Tech, and what we are currently rolling out for clients. So we're going to get way into the weeds on it. I'm going to do a lot of screen share of a bunch of different tools and the way my mind's working in this space and how we're utilizing it. So I'm going to jump in. I'm going to screen share. I encourage you guys to get your questions ready for the end of this. We'll do a little bit of a Q&A at the end. We can kind of dive into that down the road. So obviously take notes. I believe this is also, this is being recorded. So we'll be able to send out a rebroadcast if that's something that you guys are interested in. And obviously, if you have any questions on this, feel free to reach out to myself or anybody from the Kiwi Tech team, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. So with all that said, let's go ahead and jump into it. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Jeff Fuzzy Wenzel. I'm the Vice President of Crowdfunding and Marketing here at Kiwi Tech. And we work with startups trying to navigate all of the different avenues and waters out there. I personally am on the crowdfunding and marketing side, so that is where my focus is trying to get you guys your KPIs, getting your growth, raising that capital. That's where that's the waters that I swim in. So let's do some screen sharing here. Let's jump into it. Get your questions ready, and here we go. All right, so let's go ahead and screen share here, and I'm going to jump into it. And let's share it this way for right now. I'll probably share my screen a couple of different ways here as we go through this. First thing I want to just kind of start with, hopefully everybody can see my screen here. Hopefully everybody should be good. Awesome. So we're going to talk a lot on this call about thought leadership in the industry or vertical that you're in. I think you're going to continue to hear that sort of buzzword happen more and more for the rest of this year into early next year. It's really about being a thought leader. And the way I explain this is, if like whatever vertical you're in, whatever space you're in, you need to own that narrative. You need to own that leadership. You need to own what's working and what's not working in the street, just like I am doing on this call right now. Somebody from your team needs to grab that and own it. So if you think at any moment that I don't know what I'm talking about, like what I always say is I encourage you, go follow me on LinkedIn, go follow me on TikTok, go follow me on Instagram, sign up for my newsletter. You'll see that I'm putting out tons and tons of information. And this is what I eat, breathe, and sleep. So how can you guys do that same sort of, or own that same mind share in the vertical that you're in? So what you're looking at here is my foundation. I build off of this. I change up stuff, but this is my core. And it all starts with data. And I'm going to show you how I use AI to enrich my data once I secure it. So if we look over here to the left, every month I'm trying to find between 2,000 to 4,000 new data points for my industry, my specific. So I'm looking for startup founders. I'm looking for companies that have just gotten funded, whatever it is. I'm just looking for my data sources. An amazing place to get that is actually this tool, Apollo. This is just a gigantic database that, this is basically our starting point. I got to find data. You can also use Sales Navigator. And what I'm doing is I'm just basically making personas of who I want to reach out to. What is their job description? What do they do? How do I reach out to them? What do I think their pain point is? I just try to start to imagine who is the other person on the other end of this line. So once I've started to identify that person, right, or those personas through Apollo, through Sales Navigator, there's another tool called Ocean. There's a bunch out there. I just trying to source that data. Then I got to scrape it. And this is my next starting point here, right? After I sort of find it, I use a very powerful tool called Find Email that allows me to go and scrape, the information from there. So as I make these lists, I go in and I scrape the data. I use Find Email. And then what I do here is, and this might be a little bit hard to see. If you guys want this image at the end, let me know. I'll send it over. But what I do is I have, now this one says 10 domains. I think I have 20 domains running. I have 2 emails per domain. I have a master inbox. And this is my funnel system, right? So I'm grabbing that data, right? And then I'm moving it into a cold email system. So I'm knocking on as many front doors as possible. If you guys are familiar with the politics world, this is where I'm canvassing. I'm out knocking on front doors. I want to have these conversations. So this is my second part. I've found my data. I know who I'm going after. Now I want to scrape that data, get those emails, get those LinkedIn information, right? Drive them into an email system, right? So now we're going to go back to this funnel. I'm going to keep kind of going back to here. So now we're going to get down to here. Now I've got the data secured. It's in my Google spreadsheets. Now I got to put it into my email outreach. And my goal here a lot of times is I want them to opt in. I want to get them into my lead generation system here, right? So got the emails, got the data. I'm going to dump them now into a tool like Lemlist. Lemlist is a phenomenal tool for cold email outreach. Now, this is where AI is going to start picking up here, right? Now that I've secured that data. So what you're looking at here is just one of my most recent email sequences that's out running. I'm averaging about a 45, usually about a 50% open rate when the dust all settles. You know, there's my interest rate, my reply rate, my click-through rate. So again, these are small groups of data, right, that I'm doing email and LinkedIn outreach to. But what you're not seeing is how I've enriched that data. So let's go over to here. I'm going to show you this here real quick. Click on this. So because I got the LinkedIn data, I have an integration running in here with ChatGPT. So if you guys can see all this right here, right? See that LinkedIn and ChatGPT 3. What this does is once it pulls in the data from my Google Sheet, it then finds all the information that is on LinkedIn from that person. And then from there, takes and writes my icebreaker with ChatGPT based on the information that I fed it from LinkedIn. And the way this works is this formula right here. And again, this might be something I can share with you guys afterwards, but we can talk about this, offline. I don't want to get too in the weeds on exactly how I'm doing all this stuff. But again, we could talk about this. So what I'm doing is I'm running that data through a couple different tools, couple different APIs, taking that Google Sheet, having it read it, grabbing the domain market, the industry, target audience, value proposition, and having the ChatGPT write that icebreaker for my outreach. So then each one of these leads has its own specific sequence that it reached out to, right? So put in the name. Hey, it looks like you did a really good job on LinkedIn when you won these two things. It's going to be kind of hard to show because it's already done all of it. But this is my next part, is enriching that data that's coming in so that my outreach is absolutely on point, which is why I get such high open rates. I get really good click-through rates. Everybody responds to me on cold email. So again, let's kind of go back to here. This is my starting point. I've secured that data. I'm putting it in. I'm using a tool like Lemlist. There's another tool called Instantly. Again, both kind of do some of the same things. And here what I'm doing is I'm enriching that data using AI, using a tool like Lemlist, where each one of my leads, mind you, this is not a volume play. This is a very focused play. I only did 37 leads here. That's fine. But I want to see that outreach I want it to work, right? I want to get those leads as fast as possible. So that's, again, pretty unique starting point. That's how we're doing it. That's our starting point. We want to get from here. And again, I'm driving these people into a landing page. I want them to opt in. Ultimately, I want them to get to a newsletter. We'll continue on here in just a moment. But I'm going to stay in this sort of thought leadership and data portion of it. So now that we've done that, now we want to look at, well, what is happening? What is thought leadership? So for me, that means owning the space, owning the vertical that you're in. Where I do this the most is actually on LinkedIn. So let me just move this down here real quick. There we go. And I use a very, very powerful tool called Taplio. So you're looking at the behind the scenes of my LinkedIn right now. If any of you on this call are not following me, I recommend all of you guys do it. Go follow me. You'll see that I post 3, 4, sometimes even 5 times a day. Very relevant content. I would say about 85% of it is all AI driven. So the way I'm doing that, well, number one, let's just kind of look at my numbers over the last 90 days. This is all organic. There is no funny business here. There's no bots. This is just me being active to my industry, to my keywords, to my vertical, right? You can see where I started and you can see where I am right now. And I'm going to continue to see 5, 6, 7 new new people following me. Again, I'm not trying, this isn't something I'm trying to do to go viral. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm engaging. So you can see the type of posts that have worked really well, which ones have produced the best, right? You can start to get a pattern that you can start to see here of what types are working better. Are there certain tone to certain pieces of content? You can tag those. What's happening over here is I've got hook generators, right? So if I want to, I can go in and just click on this button here. It might run a little bit slow, or I can go to AI generated. So once I put my keywords in here, whatever it is, right? I'm just going to keep this one in here right now. This will go and hands are off here. This will start creating me some hooks. Now, my mindset of this is not everything is going to be perfect, right? My goal here is to just keep getting the tool to get smarter, use what I can. So again, if 80% comes from this, I don't care. I'm not judging it, right? I'm just allowing the tool to do its thing. So, if I look here and I think, oh, that's an amazing hook, I can click this, use that as a hook, go back over here, click this button, and now the AI should write more off of this. I'm just going to there you go. So it just created that. So now my job is to kind of spot check, read it, right? Make sure that I'm, does this make sense? Is there anything kind of stupid in here, right? And all right, so if that looks good to me, I hit my add to queue and it loads up into my system. So again, I just created a LinkedIn post while we were on this call, right? Other things that I'm doing inside of here, again, think about this is all LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn world here. I also want to be going into industry news. So again, this tool is grabbing, it's out grabbing top news. By the way, I'm doing all this in real time. This is what my days look like in the morning is I kind of just get all my world set up here. So again, focusing on LinkedIn, and I'm going to show you how LinkedIn kind of spills out into all my other channels after I do this. So again, this is going to start pulling in the top news from my industry. I should be doing it right now. Again, maybe running a little bit slow because I'm doing this with a whole bunch of other screens open. But once this pulls in, it's going to give me an opportunity to go in, have AI write either I'm agreeing with these articles, I'm disagreeing with these articles. It gives me an opportunity to edit. So again, you have to kind of trust me here on this one. It's running pretty slow. I may have to pivot off this, but it's just pulling all these news stories in from my keywords. So yours would be doing the same thing, whatever vertical that you're in. I mean, I've got this running for Web3. I've got this running for a chocolate company. So again, lots of ways to be doing this. All right, it's running real slow right now. My point to all this is it's going to pull in about 50 articles for me to comment on, and again, be a thought leader in that industry. Other things that it really, really powerful is it allows me to load contacts. So let's say I went into Apollo, right? Again, it starts with that data. I could load that up as a list, that data, and start engaging with them, right? So here, okay, here's a list of people. I can use the icebreaker thing we talked about where it creates a specific outreach to them. I can push this over to Lemlist if I wanted to do that outreach. So now imagine I'm connecting and contacting with people in my industry, in my field, using AI, basically being engaging, right? If we go to this engage feature, this is a nice one too. So this is going to pull in other people that LinkedIn thinks that I should be engaging with, again, based on my keywords. So all right. So these are other people's posts that I'm going to comment on while I'm doing here. So the secret is going to click this button. I'll let the A. So it's going to generate a reply. Story always engages people with it. Perfect. I don't know. Again, I'm not judging it a ton. I am just participating in it, right? I'm using the tool. Don't be afraid to repurpose or reuse content. Yeah, I actually agree with that. A lot of people get never be afraid. All right, I'm going to fix that a little bit. If you saw what just popped up, that's Grammarly. So Grammarly is always installed, running to make sure I'm not saying anything stupid or spelling something wrong. So again, these are people that are into crowdfunding, entrepreneurship, startups, right? That they're posting engaging content. So now what I guarantee is going to happen, because this happens to be every day, once I do this engaging, I will have a whole bunch of people responding back. And my job now is to keep that conversation going back and forth, back and forth. So LinkedIn, starting point. Let's go back to this funnel here, right? So I'm starting here a lot with LinkedIn, Taplio going into LinkedIn. Now, what I do off of that is going to be a couple different ways here, right? So now if you see here, I have blog content in here. Now, blog content for me comes from a couple different ways of how do I get inspired? What am I writing about? What I don't typically do is just go into ChatGPT and say, write me a blog about crowdfunding for, that's 1,500 words. Typically that content is pretty stale, or it's just very generic and it doesn't really hit the mark very well. So I'm going to stop screen sharing and share my screen a little bit of a different way here so you can see this next starting point here. So just give me a quick second here. So let's do this. I'm going to go over here. Let's grab this one here. All right. So what you're looking at now, this is my inbox. When I try to think about blogs, I want to be making sure that I'm responding to something that's either a keyword or a question that's constantly coming up in my industry. So what you're seeing here is how I scrape Quora every day. Every day, you can see it, right? Every day I get based on my keywords, the top questions from Quora every day in my space. Then I go through it and I find the ones that had the most views yesterday. So that got 257 views. What type of follow-up emails work well? B2B lead generation. Okay. Down here, this one got 598, 457. So let's just say 457. That's a lot of views yesterday. What is the difference between email marketing and lead generation? Well, as a thought leader, I should do a couple things here. One, go use AI, put that question. Let's actually just do it right here. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab this question here. And I'm going to do a new screen share here. Let's go grab this. Let's go back over here. All right, so now let's go to ChatGPT. Hopefully this is all working. I'm on ChatGPT 4 just because. And let's see what pops out. So this is something that I can now copy and paste this in Quora, or copy and paste it here, go over to Quora, respond to that person as a thought leader. I can also take this content as it's writing it all out, adjust it, tweak it, write a hook, write subject lines. I can take this and put it back. Let's go back over here. This can be a blog post now because I know that many people are searching for this article every single day. I should probably respond to that, right? So let me go back. Let's go back. Where was ChatGPT? So it's doing a pretty good job, and I can tell you that this is probably going to be 80–85% close. Now I'll probably go in, write a little, either a hero section, or I'll have ChatGPT write me a hero section, or I'll write a specific call to action at the end of this. But now I've got a Quora response. I've got a blog response, right? So let's kind of go back to here, right? If there's any SEO or keywords, I'll go over and I'll grab this tool, Surfer. Let's go Surfer SEO. I will put this content into this tool and let AI help make sure that I am ranking correctly, making sure that I'm, if there is any, headlines that should be put in. So I just take that content and expand it. Don't just, it wrote it, copy and paste and put it out there. That is not using AI the right way. It's taking it as your source and then start to expand it. So again, let's see where we are here. It's probably, I'm sure this is done now. Cool. So it's good to go. Let's say I like this. Again, I would clean this all up a little bit more, clean it all up, but just for sake of it right now, I now have my blog for the day. Now, how does that fit in? How does that piece of content flow into all my social media posting, right? So I can go ahead, if that becomes a blog, that can go to Facebook. Obviously that can go, actually, I'm going to switch it here. I'm going to show you a second. So Facebook, yeah, we can put it as a blog, hyperlink it to Facebook. I don't use Facebook very much anymore. But my next thing is let's say that piece of content was so good and it's perfect. One of the next things I'll do is I'll actually go to it. I will set up my camera and I will literally read. I have a teleprompter on my phone and I will read this article, just read it, like literally just email marketing and lead generation are two distinct related strategies, right? I'll just read it. Then I will go and I will put that content into a tool called Descript. and I will make my TikTok content. And I'll probably have 2 or 3 of these. I might chop them all up. And I'll put the caption. There's inside of TikTok, there's a way to do an AI feature in there so that pulls all the captions in. And now I've got my TikTok content. Well, actually, I'll say my reels. I've got my TikTok content. I've got my Instagram reels. So you can see I do this strategy all the time. Look, these are all, look, that's just me reading stuff, recording my phone calls, using AI to chop it all up there. So again, I filled up this bucket. I filled up this bucket. We can put YouTube shorts in there. Let's do this. Let's go back over here and say, now write this post into a Twitter thread. Let's see what happens here. So again, not judging it. I just want to see what happens here. I'm just trying to coach the robot, right? Let's see what it does here. So now it's going to write this into, it looks like 5 tweets. Perfect. This is exactly what I would want it to do. So now it's going to make a Twitter thread, right? So again, there's tweet 1. It even put the hashtags in for me that makes sense. Oh, it's putting emojis in. This is awesome, right? Very cool, very cool. So that piece of content is, I mean, we're talking about, at the end of the day, we're about 20 to 25 minutes for me to fill up most of my bucket. This is, yeah, it's funny. I'm going to show you what I do next year. So I'm just going to let this do its thing. So we've talked about LinkedIn. We've talked about, how to take this content, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok Shorts. Once I have that content there, I can also well, I'm going to switch with Weber. Let's think about Twitter for just a second. So the next tool that I use is a tool called Tweet Hunter. Tweet Hunter is the exact same company as Taplio, but this one is designed 100% for Twitter. So I've got my AI assistant here that writes all my tweets. I've got my analytics. I've got the same sort of collaboration tools or connecting with other people. I've got an AI writer. Here I can do evergreen content where once I post it once, you can see I can schedule it to go out whenever I want. Now that I have this Twitter thread, let's go back to here. Let's see if this is done. All right, cool. So this is done. Let's do a little copy paste job. Nope. Go back over to Tweet Hunter. Go over here. You can see how that line says skip 3 lines to start a Twitter thread. So we're going to put it in there. There's my there. I just got to do 1, 2. There we go. So you see how it's separating them out. So now I'm doing a Twitter thread, which Twitter threads tend to work pretty well. We may have to tweak a couple of these here. Let's just see. All right. Looking good. Let's clean up this a little bit. All right, so we got an issue here. This one is, see how it's in red? So let's just clean up that one. Let's take out, let's see that. There we go. I just had to take out that. All right, so this is all good to go here. Now my Twitter thread's ready to go. I hit add to queue. It should pop up at Thursday at this time. Did that go? Cool. So that's going to go, yeah, it'll get there. You see, now it's getting loaded in. So that post that just started there that we started with, I'm completely loaded up of content here, right? We are 100% good to go. Now, a couple other ways to look at this. One of the other things that I do quite a bit here is, again, I'm trying to kill as many birds with one stone here. So another thing that we do quite a bit on my end is I record all my calls, right? I use a tool called Phantom. If you're not using it and you're on Zoom, you're missing out. This is what the behind the scenes looks like of this. So you can see my calls. This call I just had a little bit ago. What's nice here, this is kind of on lead generation, making sure my notes and my CRM are all tip top. So one is it gives me a copy summary. It transcribes all my calls get transcribed right away. You can see the transcriptions right there, right? There's the transcriptions. The other part is it has an AI summary. I click that button, it generates a summary of my call based on the transcriptions, and it's pretty good. It allows me to have lots of calls and stay organized. But the other part of this is then I go and I download those videos, right? I download the video. I throw it into this tool Descript. It has this has all my templates built. And now I've got my Reels content coming off of this. So if we go back to my TikTok, right, you can see all of these come from my phone calls. And again, I'm not in a world to try to go viral. I'm just trying to be a thought leader in my space. These are the type of calls I have. This is my energy. This is this is what I do, right? You're seeing my world. So if anybody's like, should I get on a call with you? I just send them one of these. Just get on a call with me. This is me, right? So simple way. I'm already having the call. So if you're having internal team meetings where you're talking about something, record it, transcribe it, cut it all up, slice and dice it, and there's all your reels that can come off of you. If you're doing that blog content we talked about, are you posting that stuff over on Medium? So I've got 200 followers over here. I post, what is it? I don't even know at this point anymore. I probably post 3 to 5 blogs per day, all wrote with AI, all in the same pattern, right? So again, just this content is constantly coming off of me. We're using AI, we're tweaking and adjusting. You'll start to see too, a lot of people say one of the downfalls of ChatGPT is it's not in real time. So most of the content is up to 2021. If you find that that's a problem, then you can start looking at Jasper. So we use Jasper quite a bit as well. Jasper is more up-to-date information. I think it's up to end of 2022, I think is what it is. So this is nice too. Jasper is pretty unique too, because it gives me different frameworks to use that I can load up. So again, if I have a very specific, like I want a company bio or just engaging questions, take a piece of conversation and try to explain it as a child, right? So let's say I go and I take this piece of content. Let's go back up here. Let's grab this. I'm just going to do this in real time. Let me see what spits out. Let's see what they say here. There we go. So it just rewrote it in a couple different ways. Again, based on trying to explain it like a child, right? So again, that may be something I use this one quite a bit when I'm in a tech product or I'm in something that's very just very in the weeds on something. Sometimes I'm like, just break it down simpler. So again, these templates work really, really well. You've got Facebook ads, you've got marketing angles, paragraph generators. I use this quite a bit for website building. If I just need very specific things, SEO homepage stuff. So that's why, I use kind of a 1-2 approach with this. I'm not all one or the other. I try to find different ways to utilize this. So again, you may want to think about these templates instead of just giving these prompts to ChatGPT. The other big thing to be constantly aware about is on ChatGPT, it is about how you are controlling it and how you are making the bot smarter and smarter and smarter. So one of the things that I know when I train a couple of people, they've gotten kind of discouraged because they just put a simple prompt in and they're like, that's not very good. Right? You've got to keep working it over and over and over. And there's different prompts that you can use. Let me see if I can find let me grab an interesting prompt here. So there's a ton of resources now out there around different prompts, right? That's going to start to become the new gold in this space, is the prompts to get the, so this is one of my favorite prompts, right? As a starting point, and it's imagine this is a robot, right? So you are a prompt generation robot. You need to gather information about about the user's goals, objectives, and right. You can read that here. I'll just pause for just a second so you guys can read it. So what this is doing is it's a conversation, right? So I'm gonna, let's just push that button. The more that you can get into this, what kind of output are you looking for? And additional context will be helpful for me now. What is the status of equity crowdfunding in this year? Let's just see what it said. Okay, all right. So again, just kind of working it back and forth, right? Should a company look at running an equity crowdfunding campaign? So again, this is going to probably be pretty good, right? So that's probably, I mean, just that alone, probably just go back to here. That probably, I can spit that into all of these things right here, right? This could, more and more people are probably answering that question. So again, we could look at how do we take that and flip it into all these different channels. So yeah, pretty powerful stuff here. Another one to look at, I'm going to kind of pivot over to is using Midjourney to create your artwork for your blog. So you're having custom artwork based on this. So I'm just going to do a quick search here and just see what's going on. I'm not going to get too far in the weeds with this. This is a whole nother animal in terms of using AI. And I'm just going to do some quick searching here real quick just to see what's popping up. This has come a long way from the start, right? So again, for each article, you should be thinking about having a custom artwork for it so that you're ranking in Google search images. So again, these are all pretty good, right? I would consider using almost all of these right now. Now I may go and make my own, but these are all user generated. I mean, that's it. The other part of this is that you're going to want to look at what kind of prompts that you're using specifically for AI artwork, right? Because there's different types of prompts that are going to give you better results. Jasper also has a AI art generator in it as well. So this one does take I have found that the copywriting is a little bit quicker for me. This one has been a little bit more challenging, just to really kind of hone in the tool. And you can see the different types of so that was the prompt that they used to get this image, which that's a pretty good image, right? So again, it's going to come all down to the prompts. All right, 2 more things, and then I'm going to shut up because I think we'll probably have some questions, and I want to get into there and give everybody some time here. So I'm going to stop I'm going to screen share another screen here, and I'm going to show you guys another pretty powerful thing that you guys can be doing for backlinks. And again, thought leadership. Right, you're going to hear me say this over and over and over because I truly, truly believe in it. So let me go here. Let me go here. All right, one more second. All right, cool. Let's screen share a different screen here, and then we're going to come back in just a moment here. Let's go to here. So another action item that we can do from this call is if you guys are not signed up for Haro, I don't know what you guys are doing. Haro stands for Help a Reporter Out. Every single day, reporters reach out to me with queries. You can see them right here, right? Every day I get them. I get them 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night. And what these look like are literally reporters asking for help, asking to fill in articles that they're trying to either finish or and put out. So if you look here, companies helping to close on digital divide, ultimate guide to crafting Windows business plan. So let's say number 2. Let's go look at that one here. This is what they're looking for. All right, so this guy is it's from Newsbreak. It looks like it's a high tech. They need a response by tomorrow at 7 p.m. I would be grateful if you could share some insight for me on my article. I require specialist opinions of those with a profound comprehension of the topic. What is a business plan? Or why isn't a business plan important? So I think you guys are going to know where this is going to go. I'm going to go and take this question here. I'm going to go over to ChatGPT and I'm going to prompt it to write a response. I'm going to take that article back and I'm going to go and email Eric with my response, my bio line, and my backlink to either my company's website, my website, whatever it is. That's going to create backlinks. So again, this is going to take a couple minutes. I mean, this isn't going to be a monster task here, but let's see what comes out. Let's go back to here, ChatGPT. I'm going to start a new chat so that we don't keep we want to keep our chats clean. Now, what I probably should have done is actually been more specific. I should have probably wrote, give me 10 reasons why a business plan is important. Again, it's probably going to just do it. All right, but this is going to probably be pretty good as well. So there you go. I would copy and paste this, go back to Haro, the email response, respond to Eric, try to get that backlink. And also now I go set up your Google alert, see if you get in the article for Newsbreak. if you do, now you can put that in all your social media. You can put that on the website as featured in Newsbreak. So again, very, very low hanging fruit. Haro is free. It's like, it doesn't cost me anything. I just respond a couple times a day to whatever makes sense. So again, Haro, go sign up for it. It's free. Super, super cool. And then last but not least, before kind of we do our Q&A, all of this content is probably getting filtered into your newsletter system. So we use Beehive, there's MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, right? You should be having, let's go back to there, right? Your newsletter is your place to constantly talk to people, to keep reinforcing that you're a thought leader. You know what you're talking about. This is what you do. At some point you might have a call to action, buy my thing, sign up for this. My campaign's launching, whatever it is, but you want to keep having those touch points, maybe twice a week, once a week, whatever it is. You want to be filling up this content. Hey, you missed this article. This question came out on Quora. Hey, a reporter at Newsbreak was asking why a business plan is important. These are my 5 reasons why I think a business plan is super important, right? So you're just taking that information, and that's kind of your last place is your newsletter, right? You're dripping that information out over and over and over. So again, you guys are looking at the behind the scenes. This is my world. I'm in this, every browser tab you see open. This is what I'm doing all the time, from cold email, sourcing data, using AI to post on LinkedIn and Twitter, and then taking that content from my calls, slicing and dicing that for reels. We're not going to get into ads for lead generation, but different types of landing pages that get people to sign up, and then your newsletter's happening over and over and over. So cool. Well, that's all I got. So we've got about 15 minutes or so, I think, for some Q&As. I wanted to obviously give some time for this. I can get way more in the weeds on a couple topics if we want to. But I just wanted to kind of give you guys a sense of what the mindset should be in AI, things to be thinking about, how to address this, all of this may seem overwhelming until you realize that this is like 30 to 45 minutes once you have that system built, right? Building the system takes more time, right? Kind of connecting the tech stacks and the tools and making sure your integrations are working correctly. But once it's going, yeah, I let the old AI do quite a bit of the work here. And I just go on my day-to-day, have phone calls, record those calls, transcribe them, get my notes, have that go to my reels, go in, let some AI write some stuff. So I'm going to stop sharing here. Let's get to the chat, and maybe we can, I don't know if Prachi, if you want to jump in and talk about a few things or ask some questions, and we can go from there.
So I'm right here. Cool.
Awesome. So yeah, so lots of different tools to potentially be using. You guys can, some of these are free, some of them are $50 a month. So again, you want to be thinking a little bit about what that tech stack is going to cost. A lot of the stuff, ChatGPT, I think we pay $20 a month for that tool right now. Jasper's a little bit more expensive. But yeah, I look at all of this as like, these are our acquisition costs. Because truthfully, one of the reasons I've been building a lot of this stuff right now is because I'm done giving money to the Facebooks of the world, the Instagrams of the world. PPC is expensive right now. And what we're looking for is just trying to make sure that we are, I am hitting people at a bunch of different points, right? And I want different touch points. I don't want it to just be a one and done. I don't want just one Facebook ad in a news feed. I want to be very on point with the data that I'm searching for to try to find. So that way I'm very focused with that outreach. So
I think, Jeff, this would also be a very interesting moment to let people know that we'd be inviting them to our startup community that we've created, right? Maybe if you want to
100%.
talk about the community, and of course, they'll be receiving the invites after the end of this event. So
sure. Yeah. So some of you may or may not have gotten invites. If you haven't, I'm encouraging everybody to join our Kiwi Tech startup founders community. We have tons and tons of resources. We're doing events like these 3 to 4 times, almost once a week, let's say. I host events first Tuesdays. We have Ask Me Anythings in there. We have industry experts. We had an email marketing event last Friday where we just got in the weeds on email marketing. So it's a resource that we wanted to produce and have for everybody on this call, that as you're diving into this, if there's a point that you're getting lost and you want to, bring us on to help with that, that's why we want to do this. So, I'm always encouraging startup founders, go start playing with it. But, but at some point, if it gets, a little over your head, that's where you might want to bring us in to help build out these tech stacks, or think about crowdfunding down the road, or a marketing plan, or you need tech services, whatever it might be. We just wanted to create an environment to have that type of synergy back and forth. So again, Prachi and I will send out a link post-campaign. Make sure you guys are all joined there. Obviously, it's a free service, but there's a lot of valuable resources in there. We're super active in it, and I think should be pretty powerful for most startups. I know it's been built in a way of things that I wish I had, 20 years ago when I first started, when I was like, what am I looking at here? So yeah.
Okay, we have two questions, one in the Q&A panel and one in chat. So Kelly is asking, at what point is being a thought leader close to being someone that just cobbles together existing thoughts rather than create new thoughts?
Well, I mean, I guess that, I will speak for myself on it. Everything is like, hey, that works a little bit for here. That works a little bit for here. I also truly believe in a model of, you are copying things that you see out there that you think make sense, and then you're trying to take it and put it into your industry, into your vertical. So, I don't get too nervous about that stuff. Also, I'll be a little crass here for just a moment. I think a lot of the posts out in the world, I call them farts in the wind, right? They're just like, oh, it was a thing that happened. Nobody is monitoring your feeds to this degree where people are like, where did that come from the other day? Why? I saw that. Nobody is that into it right now. Everything are fleeting thoughts. And what my big initiative is, I just want you guys to remember that I'm around. I'm here. So whenever you get to that point, right, wherever we're going to do a fundraising campaign. I want to do crowdfunding. I need to pop in your head. And I don't know if that's tomorrow or if that's 2 years from now, but I need to pop in your head and not be forgotten. And I think that that's something that every single startup founder should be thinking. Wherever that collision is, you need to make sure you're there. Or if I'll use a lightning in a bottle, right? You got your cap in your butt. You got to be able to capture it whenever that moment is. So I try to create those moments through all my social channels, my newsletter, and I try, and it happens. I get discouraged when I'm like, man, why did that post not go? Or my newsletter dipped a little bit, or so I get the nasty response. Don't ever email me again. Okay, that happens. But again, I have to keep reminding myself that it's about these collisions, and I don't control when they're going to happen, and I just got to make sure that I'm out there, at least being present, right, in a very cluttered world right now of information. So
thank you, Jeff. And of course, see, I believe that it's not constantly that we are reinventing the wheel, and nor do we need to, right? Everything's an inspiration. We are being authentic if we just present like whatever our voice is, as to what we believe in. I think that also, to a very larger extent, makes sure that it's not like anybody else's thoughts cobbled together, as long as we're able to hold on to our own voice.
Well, I'll tell you another one. My biggest post, I think, in February was my Valentine's Day post.
The poem.
We did a Valentine's poem about equity crowdfunding. Yeah. Now some people are going to go, oh, that's silly. That's not on brand. It was my number one engagement thing. There is still a level of clever there to even think about using ChatGPT to do that, right? So, hey, you got to think about, you got to at least I also play guitar, right? All of you could go grab a guitar right now and it's got 6 strings and it makes noise. But now what comes off of that, right? So we can all play the same C chord. Mine feels a little bit different than yours. My tone's a little bit different. It's a lot of that same analogy is what's happening in this space right now. They're just tools. And it's how you use them, how you manipulate them, how you control them to get the desired result out of it. So
yes, sorry, now my camera's working, so that's good. Okay.
Hey, welcome
back. Thank you. From John, we have that using these AI tools, isn't there a risk for others then to generate the same content? Wouldn't it be best that we take more time to differentiate from content? And also the campaigns that you're doing, should they be doing similar campaigns daily? Like, should they be doing these campaigns daily? What should be the cadence?
Yeah, so cadence depends on platform. There's I'll work backwards up. There are best practices for each platform. Just do a Google search of whatever platform we're talking about and what the kind of best practices are. So TikTok for me is 2 to 3 times a day. So usually, morning, noon, night. Twitter is 3 to 4 per day. LinkedIn is 2 to 3 per day. So it just kind of depends. But working backwards, if you go do some research on where we are right now with ChatGPT, ChatGPT, I believe it's like over 1 billion different variations for each request, right? With ChatGPT 4, that number is going to 1.75 trillion. The chances of you getting a similar outcome as somebody else, I mean, I don't do math real well. It's probably my weak, but you'll be fine. It's more about the consistency coming off of you, that there isn't these, I disappeared for 3 months. I also don't get too caught up in this, like, because John, there's a little bit of tone in what your messages is around this sort of like perfect post. There is no such thing as a perfect post. Every single post that I sit and think about for an hour does nothing. And every post where I'm like, and I send it out, I'm like, okay, why did that one get like 20 views and the other one got no views? It's algorithms. There's no human sitting there going, what an amazing piece of content that Jeff worked on. He clearly must have worked on that post for all day. So it just doesn't quite work that way. To me, it's consistency. I'm coming off. I showed you consistency, my LinkedIn. That's my growth, right? Every day, 5 or 6 new people follow me. And then what I didn't get in, I also have automation happening on the backside of LinkedIn, that when somebody does interact with me, then there's a series of conversational pieces coming off of me. And most of this stuff is what I'm doing is I'm trying to have conversations. So even in my posts, very rarely are my posts like me talking to you. I'm trying to get you to come out. So again, I'm going to encourage all of you guys, if you guys sign up for our circle, you'll get a pretty unique welcome email sequence from me. My first one is just, this is what I like to do. I like bourbon. I like cigars. I like records. And then I ask you, what are yours? Now, AI helped me write some of that. It's still what I like. I didn't make it up, but I want you to respond to me. I want to create that 2-way street, not a 1-way street. And that's where, again, I think a lot of people fall flat is they use social media just to be like, buy my thing, buy my thing, buy my thing, buy my thing, buy my thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like, hey, have you ever thought about this? Have you struggled with this? And I'm trying to create those conversations. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We have 2 more questions. Kelly asks that if her industry and service is particularly nuanced, does she attempt to train the broader AI, or does she create a specific knowledge base of her own AI chat? Like, how should she be going about it?
So I'm in a pretty specific industry, equity crowdfunding, right? This is not a global thing, right? So and the way ChatGPT works, or even Jasper works, the more that you're prompting it, it does get smarter and smarter and smarter. So I encourage you to kind of stick with it for like a week, because what you'll see is from the first one to whatever you're doing a week later, you'll see that it just has a little bit of a different tone. It is getting smarter behind the scenes based on what your keywords are, based on what you kind of keep talking to. Or you'll see tools like Taplio, that the LinkedIn one we were looking at, that one also tends to get smarter and starts to find your patterns. Or you train it to say, hey, this post got good likes, this post got good likes, and then it will go and try to replicate more of those, right? So, you're not going out and trying to build your own one of these things. You're taking, well, I mean, for most companies at this stage, I'm trying to create these to work in my field. So,
right. Jonathan, of course, has thanked us for sharing all the methodologies for like different platforms, right? But also, like, Jonathan feels that we are maybe at risk, letting machines do all the thinking. And interestingly, I was having this conversation with some of my colleagues at work today. I mean, a lot of people approach it with the way that AI is thinking, but I feel it's about the smart prompts, right? If you are not, it's eventually you as the person, as the individual, the smarter prompt that you give, the more accurate the results would be. And of course, then there's proofreading that you need to do. So I feel that I don't think machine's going to do all the thinking for us just as yet. Your thoughts?
well, I mean, my thoughts are, good luck with that mindset, because this cat's not going back in the bag, right? So from all the way down to what's happening in our fast food industries, that companies are raising millions and millions of dollars in equity crowdfunding right now to, basically AI and have robots do all of our fast food. That is coming down the pipeline. So this idea that like it's just going to stop, I can't fathom it. And the second part of all this is, most of the time when a founder or a startup person comes to me, the first thing they say to me is, I don't have enough time to do all this marketing on LinkedIn and run my company, Jeff, so you should do it for me. Oh, wait a minute. So you don't have enough time to do it, but you also don't want to use AI to help. So I'm so, oh, so you don't want to actually do anything. So you just get to this like, well, which one is it? You're either going to use these tools to grow and change and learn how to do it and just learn how to write the prompts, or you're going to start becoming a social media expert and I guess, write these blogs all on your own, take all the time. But even that, right? So the important part is, we have to remember, if you want to rank with like SEO on Google, there are algorithms. You aren't going to beat the algorithms when that's how they're ranking stuff, right? So why would you not look at AI, push it into Surfer SEO, where it's telling you, hey, you got to make your headlines got to be this. You need this keyword here. You need this. That's giving you a shot. So, you could, why would we not do that sort of stuff? So I think that's just, again, I don't see how this stuff is not happening. Down the road. So.
Okay, one more question. How can the AI be trained to generate content that's generated in other people's searches? So I think what they mean is that content that appears in other people's searches, how can AI be trained to catch that content or find that content? Any thoughts on that?
So yeah, so I didn't show it yet, but Taplio and Tweet Hunter both have a viral content. I literally click that and it shows me all the viral style content. And then from there, I take that and I apply my own hooks to it. But there is no AI that's just going to say, oh, because you used AI, you will 100% show up and everybody on this account and you'll go viral. You still have to, again, use the systems around like, no, this is the best practice on how to write viral style tweets or viral hooks for TikTok, or how to use the captions correctly. Each one of these platforms all have their own nuances that you need to know and understand, so that you're using AI in the best ways to do that. So an example would be my TikToks that have done the best is when I use a caption system on as I talk, there's a caption app that just transcribes and then puts the captions. That's important because TikTok ranks the content like it does with SEO. So in that first sentence or so, you want to have your hook in there with your keyword so that it does pop up in search. If somebody goes to search equity crowdfunding, I said something about that in the first 5 seconds of that TikTok. And that's just TikTok. Then Instagram has its rules, and then YouTube Shorts has its rules, and then Twitter has its rules. So again, you start to see where like the AI it's a tool in this. It's not replacing any of this stuff. And then the knowledge I'm talking about is what becomes the knowledge needed to apply AI into your vertical, your industry, your platform you're focused on, to get eyeballs in a crowded space.
Right. No, absolutely right. We have 2 more questions here. So one from Sean, and Sean says that he sees the benefits of AI tech for lead generation. Do we see a realistic role for technology in brand marketing and or strategy marketing and planning?
100%. So
Yes.
we can here, let's just we could just do it all together here real quick, right? Well, all you got to do, Sean, is go into ChatGPT and say, lay out a 3-month strategic marketing plan for insert your vertical, and it will 100% give you an answer. So,
and then more specifics that you enter, the more specific the plan would be. So,
yep. Yeah, same thing. So even on the brand marketing, what we didn't get into is AI for logo design, color palettes. There, again, go and search AI for brand marketing, and you will find a gazillion tools that we didn't even get into right now that literally you would say, hey, I want to make a website and a brand around Formula One racing. And I'm only saying that because I'm watching a client's content come in, right? And it will lay out, here's 25 logos, here's 25 different colors, here's your headlines, and it will build everything within like 5 minutes. And then you'll just take all that and put it into your WordPress, and there's your logos, there's your color palettes, there's pitch decks. You're also going to see too, and this just got released this week. You saw Microsoft release their own AI version that's going to go into all Teams, slides,
Yes.
You're going to see it in the PowerPoint. Google released the same thing. We just touched the surface here. In my Google Sheets, you can now have AI to do all my Google Sheets. All my formulas can go out of there. You have it in where our slide decks. You have it now in there where it says, hey, I want you to write a 10-page pitch deck around, insert your thing, insert your data, your facts, and it'll give you something that's like 80% there, 85% there. And then you just start tweaking and adjusting. So yeah, strategic marketing plan, that, and brand marketing, it's through the roof right now.
I love the fact that everyone's sticking around. I mean, we have 2 more questions, even though we're a little over time, but I think we can stick around for another 5-7 minutes.
Yeah,
Just really love the energy, everyone's so interactive.
Mm-hmm.
So Kelly asks that, do you think large corporations or other entities will be able to influence ChatGPT, Jasper based upon the work they put in the AI systems? Basically, can a bias be created with enough effort in chat AI?
So I wouldn't worry about that as much as I would actually propaganda. It would be my, no matter what side of the aisle you're on here, is how are these tools getting, manipulate, who can manipulate the data of the facts and whatnot, which again comes back to, if you see something that is not on point, right? You don't just post it out. This is not a copy paste 24/7. There is still everything I just showed you. I still look at it with those eyes going, it feels a little weird. I might want to double check that. You know what I mean? Like that exists. There's no doubt about it. So this is not a just 100% trust, but no, it's an interesting question. None of us know. We're like 60 days into this, 90 days into this, and it's crazy right now. It's crazy. All the tools popping out. It's pretty intriguing when you see all the integrations that are starting to happen, like tools like Lemlist, where they're enriching that LinkedIn data to create specific. I mean, imagine I load up 100 people and I get 100 different icebreakers based on their actual LinkedIn data. And again, it's hard to show right now because this stuff's all in real time, but like the icebreakers are like, hey, congratulations on graduating because they, from your college, because they just graduated, they wrote that on LinkedIn, or, hey, looks like you switched your job, right? Like that type of outreach for lead generation is through the roof. I mean, it's just crazy for guys like me, where you're like, that's exactly what I would have wrote. If I would have spent the time to go to their LinkedIn, research it, look at it, I would have probably wrote something very similar. So interesting question, but we don't quite know yet.
So everything that you just said, I hope that this answers Doug's question as well. Our next question was that, have we started running any sort of test, of this AI and automation processes, such as whether it's leads, customer support, follow-up? And I think everything that Jeff showed on call today, like on this workshop today, is everything that we're doing in-house. Whether it's for LinkedIn, whether it's email content, lead generation, we are doing that, of course. Manual efforts involved when proofreading is concerned, vetting it, making sure everything's okay, high quality. But yes, we are heavily involving AI when it comes to automating processes, especially simple transactional processes. And also, wherever there's a need for personalization, there are tools, that can for full LinkedIn profile, give you very specific data to send those warm connection requests, or write a very meaningful first email. So that is everything that we've been testing and playing around with.
Yeah, I mean, everything that you're seeing here is implemented and running on multiple different either communities, verticals. I mean, I didn't get into client accounts or anything like that, but again, some stuff's running for a chocolate company, some for a Web3. We've got some stuff running for just me. Some stuff we're running. We didn't get into automating our Facebook ads, automating our Google ads that are out there for clients. We didn't get into either like what we're doing right now with Hulu ads, Reddit ads, TikTok ads. I mean, there's just a ton right now that is super exciting right now. And it's just it feels very Wild West, which is exciting. And there's a ton to be learning, tons of data points, and really the kind of those partnerships we're looking for is people who are like, I got to get in on this. Otherwise I'm going to be left in the dust. Oh, I have a social security disability company that, we're trying to figure out very specific ways of using AI for RFPs. So if you're a company that's doing a lot of trying to get, state money or government money, and those RFPs have to be filled out in a certain way, it's almost better to use a bot, right? To say, hey, focus on this keyword, because most of the time that stuff isn't being read by a human. Same thing in like HR departments. If you need to be building tech for HR right now, right? How are we managing massive amounts of data where the AI is reading it and pulling out certain keywords and saying, hey, you should talk to this job hire because their resume matched 10 keywords that we are really looking for. So again, the more that you guys start to think about and expand, you start to see there's a place for almost all of this when you're starting to look at big data, your touch points, the type of people you need to be reaching out to. We kind of stayed in lead generation a lot right now and just content creation. But man, I think the places that this thing's going to go it's just going to be massive when the dust settles. So
that is true. And like, I think it's good. It's a good place to be in at this point in time. So much we can achieve with the help of AI. I think everybody should be experimenting with. Okay, last question for the afternoon. Some people have the fear of AI. Okay, some people fear automation. They have negative connotations, like they're entering a new territory. They feel that they may not be smart enough to run or be a part of the company, but they also hate the feeling of maybe not knowing enough about AI or how to use it optimally. How can we overcome this?
Jump in head first and don't have any fear. And I say that all because I don't have any of these fears. I'm just like, just get in and I just start doing stuff and you start to figure it all out. So it's probably a mind shift change for some people to just go, again, the cat's out of the bag. It's not going away. You're going to get companies like us. We look at stuff and we go, that took 10 hours for you to write a press release. This took 20 minutes and it got the same results, right? You're going to be looking at these. Every company's going to be looking at these things. It's human nature, right? Well, why did that take so long when this happened, right? So I think that's going to be a part of it. Then it's just being comfortable with experimenting, just getting it. Just on this call, I just put in some random stuff. I mean, I didn't really work on anything. So again, I think that's going to be a part of it. It's being comfortable putting yourself out there and saying, hey, I'm going to start trying this stuff. And also be comfortable knowing that it's very, very, very early right now. So, some of these things that we talked about today may be gone. One of these tools may be gone, and that doesn't work anymore. Their AI broke. Or a platform changes something that they don't allow that API to do something. That's okay. It happens. It's not like the world's ending. It's just like, okay, you move on to the next thing and you find the next thing and you go there and you try this. So I think as long as you're in that sort of mindset, you'll be much better off than being completely fearful of everything.
Yes, 100% in sync. I think it's better to embrace it and have that excitement of experimenting with it, because this is not going anywhere. It's here to stay. Whatever capacity, maybe like the future will decide that, but it's here to stay for sure.
Yeah.
So with that, Jeff, thank you so much. Any words, anything that you want to say before we end the workshop? But again,
no, I mean, I think one of the reasons we did this as well is just, again, you kind of heard me talk about it before, collisions, right? If you guys are getting into marketing efforts or you're getting into, launching a new thing, we're really trying to encourage, just have a call with me, have a call with one of your sales teams. Let's just, really make sure that we're aligning a plan here that makes sense for not just for right now, but where we think we're going to be at the end of this year. Whether it's through fundraising or building out this lead generation, website design right now, just take it over your LinkedIn. Just, hey, just let me see you test this out on LinkedIn for a little bit. So we're also wanting to we want to keep encouraging these sort of collisions from your end to our end, and thinking about us as this startup ecosystem, right? Like, there's a lot of things that we can be talking about that might be able to help down the road, whether it's just, I got to go out and find very specific doctors for my type of thing. Well, let's go find them. Who are they? What's that persona, right? How are we finding? How are we enriching that data so that when we go to knock on their door, we actually get the door open, right? So I think if we're just thinking along those lines, I mean, just to kind of encourage everybody on the call, don't hesitate to be reaching out, connect with us. Actually, I'm gonna give you one more quick link, Prachi, for you to have here.
Sure.
Give me 1 second. Here you go. So if you guys want, I'll throw this in the chat for you if you guys want. I've got a new domain that's open right now. It's called Pick Fuzzy's Brain. Here, if any of you guys have any questions, like literally, just don't hesitate. Let me grab the link here again. Sorry. There we go. Here you go. Actually, we'll do it from here. Yeah. So I have a domain, Pick Fuzzy's Brain. It's you can use this link though to grab it right now. Just ask me questions, get into my world. Yeah, I will answer whatever you guys have. And yeah, because it's I know there's a lot out there. We just barely scratched the surface of stuff because we have an hour. Here, we'll do this one here, that one there too. Yeah, so just pick my brain, ask me questions, and I look forward to hearing from you guys.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you everyone who attended, who stuck around. I think it was a great session. Of course, we'll be sharing the recording. I'll float around our community link as well. And we hope to see everybody, like all of you in the community, interacting and building cool things together. Thank you, everyone. You have a great evening. Thank you, Jeff.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.